All right, Kingdom Chapter 681. We climbed a rock this chapter. Hooray!
Sorry for the delay, people.
Hey, no need to apologize. We do this shit when we feel like it. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I
so
ain't gonna hold you. I was
go
just
ahead.
busy as fuck last week.
I mean, nah, it wasn't even that because it's not like I was trying super hard to get it set up or anything. We kind of tried for like a couple of days, then kind of stopped for like a week, and I'm just randomly back like, hey, let's do that again.
Fuck it.
But yeah,
All
so what'd you think of the chapter?
right, my overall impressions of this chapter was all right. Like three major things. One, I really fucks with Ray and her whole character. Like, I know people were like complaining when she first joined that she's just gonna be this OP power tool, like she's just gonna be the scapegoat, just send her and like she'll take care of everything. But like you see now, like her personality, her feelings, her emotions can still be a hindrance to her. You know what I'm saying? Like when she could have just got up there by herself, but then she started remembering her past with Shiki, and it was like damn, and then she almost fell. That to me was actually really great for her character because we already know she's strong, but now we see like more of her like playful and emotional side. So I really fuck with that. And Kanto, Kanto is slowly but surely stepping up the ranks for me in terms of like fodder people within the unit. Like simply how like he's literally like keeping morale. Like it's not like on some Shin type shit, but like he's literally like leading this charge of infantry, boosting them up, keeping them going, and then when he gets to the top of the shits, it's like, yeah, my nigga, like when like just that one hand, it was like, yeah, my nigga, I like you feel good about it being Kanto. Like I ain't gonna hold you. If it was Bihei or somebody, I would have been like a little worried, like shit, like Bihei about to get his ass flung off the roof. But like I don't know, like with this little nigga, it just felt right. Even though he's new, you know what I'm saying? Like him leading such a important um an important attack or whatever. And
Yeah, I feel
then
that.
his whole conversation with Ray. Like, yo, stop doing it by yourself, stop being a show off, like work as a unit. Like it just shows that like the main shit that Shosha was trying to show niggas, the main shit that like the High Shin unit is gonna like be known for is like we're gonna do the craziest shit, but we're still gonna do it as a unit and we're gonna succeed and you know what I'm saying, we're gonna come out the better for it. And I just really fucks with that in Kanto for this episode, this chapter.
What would you give the chapter overall out of 10?
Um, 7, 8. Because
Yeah, I
like I
could
said,
see
it's like
that.
yeah, like for what it was, like I wasn't expecting some crazy duel or like crazy like actual strategic maneuvering, but I did like the fact that it was like, all right, we going up the easy slope. They got the rock set up there, which was smart. I didn't think I thought they would have more archers to just like you know what I'm saying, like point down and just kill them that way. But the rocks was cool. It was something different, you know. And then like the young boys just taking initiative, like yo, it's harder on that side, but we good. Like we've done way worse than this. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like from what I can see, it wasn't was it Shosa that I'm not so it was Sugan that told them move to the left, but that's because he was so much further down from them. He had a better vantage point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like from where they were at, given their ability to go up the you know what I'm saying up the steep side and then go like they scaled to the left to get up the hook side, like the side that hunches over where there was no defenses. So it's like it just shows the grit of the Haitian unit, and I really fucks with that.
Yeah,
And then
I
10,
agree most. Get off your last thing because I'm about to go on my home spiel.
and then 10, like just putting niggas in their place. Like I know, like me and Draco been having debates about like her worthiness and shit. Like, but like she's here for a reason, and you know what I'm saying. It's like niggas is not just going to count her out or the team out because she's a little girl or whatever. So it's like I like the fact that she's like, nah, nigga, like just because y'all couldn't do it, don't mean it's fine. We got this. We're not so fragile. Like I fucks with that.
Yeah,
Like
I
she
agree
she
with
might
that.
not be a fighter, but like she'll fight for her people. Like you know what I'm saying, like in like the diplomacy type of areas.
Like quick little side note on 10. I think you're gonna like where I place her on my tier list. We'll do that later today because I do think
Nice.
everyone's pretty much gonna get a boost. So I did give her that plot boost. I think she's probably gonna show something. I don't know about this battle, but you know, overall with the Zhao Part 2 thing, she's she's gonna get a boost. Obviously, she's gonna get a level up.
Mm.
But yeah, I pretty much agree. There's enough in the chapter to not make it dull, so to say. Like there's a good character moments. There was more to it than just climbing a rock. As much as I want to meme that, like the fucking rocks having to go up the slope and all that shit. And there was like a lot of symbolism here with like Shosa, and like there's a lot of moments you can compare this to where it's like showing off the power of working hard or like responsibility. I like how it ties into that. But overall, I just think for an entire chapter, I mean, I don't know. I would give it like a 6 or a 7, maybe like a 6.5. I just feel like it seemed rather uneventful, even though it was important, obviously. But I think the main reason for that is just because the surrounding circumstances. Like anything else other than this, I'd rather, I'd rather read that. But like, I think the best comparison is probably the Yotano's speech chapter at Ritsubi. There's like very similar chapters where like not that much happens. Well, there was more plot progression here because climbing the hill was really important, and Yotamo didn't do anything yet in that chapter other than the morale speech. But when comparing those two chapters, like the first half of the Yotamo chapter was spent just hyping up like, oh, we don't know if Yotamo can do it. Is she like really that technical to be doing these type of battles? And it was like hyping up how difficult this is. Like, oh, if we don't do this in 2 days, the armies from Zara are gonna come and we'll be pincered and we can't like achieve the plan. The stakes are already so high. And then the other part of the chapter, she gives her speech, and it was one of my favorite speeches in the manga, maybe her best moment, where like she pretty much just like, because the mountain tribes are like super prideful, so everything they're prideful in, they're like, they call that fucking pride. Like, we have true warriors cries, we're true warriors, that type of shit. And like she like tied it back into her dream, which was rather impactful because of her moment with Sei. And that's like a big part of her characterization. So I just feel like that chapter was a lot more impactful than this one. Well, maybe not a lot more, but yeah, I would say that's fair enough to say, even though some might disagree. But I thought it was a lot more impactful, and I kind of feel like if you're gonna spend a chapter just not doing that much, like there's not that much plot progression, then it better be pretty damn impactful. But at the same time, it was like I said, it did enough for it to not be dull. I like the Kyorei and Kanto moment. Like going to Kyorei for a bit, and my timestamps are gonna be all fucked up because I wanted to just do overall impressions, and now I'm kind of just going straight into it. But with the Kyorei thing, she started off like, of course, not following orders. She didn't really care. And she wasn't super emotional because she kind of tucked that inside because of the fucking trauma, obviously.
Yeah.
And she already, like, after the Kyokai thing, she already kind of changed where, like, she let out more of her playful side. And she was, like, vibing with the crew more. And she kind of has these moments where she's, like, she wants to be acknowledged. Because I guess she's been alone for so long that she kind of likes the attention. And so she has these moments where like, hey, I did this. Like, give me my props, Shin. Like, that type of shit. And in this chapter, it was kind of like a nice development for that, where she wants the attention and she wants to do everything by herself, and she's like cocky. But she had that moment where she slipped up, of course. And as she was falling, she kind of like had that lesson where it's like, I don't have to do everything. I can rely on these people. It's okay to be vulnerable, so to say.
Yeah, they got my back. Type shit.
Because I could imagine, like, after all she's gone through, she hates the idea of being vulnerable. Like, it like sickens her in a sense. Like, it just like gives her memories of the situation with her sister. So she's kind of like repressed that feeling all this time. And even though after the Kyokai shit, she kind of like let out more of her true self that she's been repressing, and she was more like playful, more nice, she still kind of has like some things that she represses, and this is kind of like a nice development for that.
Now, I just want to talk about, like speak on two things you said in the previous segment about the comparing this to the Retsubi thing.
Yeah.
Me personally, I compare this more to and with the river shit, when he had to cross the river, and you know what I'm saying, it was like, it was normal people. It wasn't Shin, it wasn't Kyokai, it wasn't nobody with a real big name, you know what I'm saying, kind of like Kanto is now, but just off of the heart, you know what I'm saying, it was more people. It wasn't just Kanto, but it's like this was kind of like another like high Shin unit heart moment, you know what I'm saying, where it was like N was chosen to do that because Ten and Shin had trust in his, what was it, his sense of responsibility or his sense of duty or something like that. And I feel like it's more in tune with that. And on the Yotanwa thing, I'm happy that you finally giving my girl some respect. But I would say that her speech at nighttime with the Kwang Rong was way more impactful. When they had their backs against the walls and she looked around like you know what I'm saying, when her people just felt stronger because they heard the confidence in her voice type shit. Like I feel like that was a much more impactful speech. But I'm happy
I'm
to
gonna
give it
be
my
like
girl.
fucking honest for a second. I legitimately forgot what that speech was. I don't remember anything about that speech. Did she even give a
It
speech,
was
or was it just like the narrator saying like the backs against the wall? They're like going crazy.
Yeah, it was the backs against the wall, but then she like right before she told Baji and them to move out, she was like, "Do not like I'm saying like don't worry, my niggas. We like the sun that rises will be the rise tide victory type shit." And that's what got them all like because remember, like half of them had been ready to give up when they got to like when they got pushed to that rock formation.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
and
I'm
it
saying?
was
When
like
they
even now your Thomas still doesn't quit. That type of shit.
and then she gave a little speech. It wasn't like a long speech, but it's like just the impactfulness of the speech. It was like it made like her people are tough, my nigga. We know her people are not bitches. So the fact that even they at this moment in time was on some like shit, my nigga, like what fuck, what are we about to do? It is like nah, just one speech, my nigga. The sun that rises is gonna rise to our victory. And like you're saying, like that shit was fire. But
Yeah,
other than
I
that,
agree with
yeah, I
that.
agree with everything. Just this being more like a this is Kanto's end moment, which is really good because he's getting it real early. So my projections for him and like his overall like command status will be a lot higher. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like next arc he was 100-man commander or you know what I'm saying better. Like I would not be surprised.
Hmm. Sort of relating it more to the end thing. It's kind of weird because I think the best character moment in this chapter was Kyorei. So for Kanto, it's like subtlety versus grandiosity because the end moment like you had the flashbacks and shit. You had more like how End was thinking and like just the moment
Mm-hmm.
itself was like more of a grand moment. While for Kanto, it's kind of more subtle because it goes back to the Shosa thing, and there's been like build up of him like carrying his will and that all that type of shit. So I like it
Right.
for that, and just like the just Haishin unit like lesser people them getting to do something. That's always nice though. It can be kind of annoying for some people when it's in a situation where Kanki all that shit. Would you rather see that? But something interesting I want to bring up is a conversation we had about the way Western Zao invasion would affect. I don't know if we said like it would affect everyone, like Shin and Ten included. I think we did, but it was more so focused on how it would affect the fodder, like Kanto and those type of people, because like they were
Mm-hmm.
like they went through such a hellish war that like it kind of has to change you, right? I mean, even for
Yeah.
Shin, like he's been through so much, and even that was like the craziest war yet. So for like rookies like these types of people, I know they went through crazy training, but obviously that war was like nothing like they could ever fucking prepare for. And for them to go
Right.
through that, like we talked about how they have a new mindset, like, oh, we gotta put in work. We can't let like everything be that close, that like fucking yeah, that close. And that is kind of what happened because we saw like they have a different mentality now. They're more confident. They have more willpower. They're like fucking
Mm-hmm.
itching to get the job done, so to say.
Right. Like if you remember them back when we first popped up on Retsubi and how half of these motherfuckers were just throwing up, just looking at the wall
Yeah, I
and like
forgot
just
about
feeling
that.
the you know what I'm saying, feeling the aura. Like they went from that to getting trampled on by Gyoun's horses and being like, nah, my nigga, I'm no bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna fight back. Now they looking at a mountain, no climbing gear, and it's like, yeah, we gonna take this mountain. Nigga, why? Because we the high Shin unit. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it had. Like that's the type of shit that like you can't buy. You can't like you can't coach that type of heart and loyalty. You know what I'm saying? That's something that your people either have for you or they don't.
Hmm.
And the Haishin unit has it. Like I'm not saying like the Gyoku Ho and them don't have it, but for the Haishin unit, it's more earnest. You know what I'm saying? Not to say like again the Gyoku Ho will fight tooth and nail to protect Uhon and same thing for Moten. But I feel like because of where they started, the level at which like it's like this, right? If you push a rabid dog to the brink, it's gonna go way harder than say pushing a domesticated dog to the brink. You know what I'm saying? Because that rabid dog is always on go mode. So if you get it to that extreme, it's just gonna, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna go even crazier. I feel like that's what that like the Haitian unit are just a bunch of pit bulls.
I feel that.
Like they just a bunch of pit bulls. Like nigga, unless you stop them completely, they will get to wherever they're gonna go. And again, I really fucked with Kanto because he's the spearhead of this shit, and you can low key see him like leading. Like again, he's coaching Kyorei, telling her not to like be reckless and like go with the flow, go with the team type shit. And then what was it? What was his name? Ko. The little nigga that be learning techniques from Kyokai on the low and nobody knows. Like when he caught Shorty, it was like, okay, bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said before, she has people that she can rely on. And then she was like, but y'all not gonna make it up there. And she was like, nah, we got this. Like you still new to this. Like you ain't go through what they went through. You know what I'm saying? Like you had your own crazy backstory, but like the shit that we've been through, like nah, we got this and we gonna do it together. And I just vibes with that whole like the whole chapter was a good vibe to me.
Yeah, for sure. One thing about the Ohan unit guys against the Haishin unit guys, or at least the new rookies, there's definitely more depth to how it's been built up for the Haishin unit guys. Like for the Ohan guys, it's pretty much just the way ancient China customs are. Like you treat the royalty like you would give your life up for them, like you're honored to even be part of their army, like that type of shit.
Right.
And you could like instill depth into that, but it hasn't really been done that much in the story. While with the Haishin unit, like Kanto, like being someone that didn't have that much, he's really inspired by Shin being in a similar situation and where he's gone now, which is something really relatable. It's an easy way to create a relatable and realistic affection for Shin. And then after that, like we were pretty much talking about, like all they went through, they're seeing what the Haishin unit is willing to do, like a whole army of these people, like the underdogs, so to say, and they rose above all odds, and even like not just that, like they have a lot of heart. And even Shosa, he showed that when like him being a much bigger dog than Kanto and those guys, but he's still willing to give his life up for them, to the point where like Kanto's like, why? I'm like, I'm so insignificant, like why are you doing this? And even then he's like, it doesn't matter, like this is what the Haishin unit is about. And that's a pretty big lesson they learned. And that just goes into like the sense of responsibility, like inheriting Shosa's will, as Ten was saying.
I feel like Kingdom has incorporated a lot of like the more like how you say spiritual aspects of other anime, where it's like One Piece inheriting will, but then in like a sense of Naruto, it's like what was the shit? Like the connections that you have with people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's subtle, but the way they use it, I fucks with. Like Kingdom is a really good manga.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, pretty much. But unless you got something to say, I think we can end it here. I will say, like, we already kind of touched on it, but I fuck with the rock trap and the slope. Like their moments were cool. I like the homage and the Kyorei moment, but you needed a little something more to make it worthy of a chapter. Like they can't just climb a rock with no obstacles there. Like just it being the rock, that's the only obstacle. Like the rocks, like and the other side of the slope, like it made it unique enough to focus on climbing a rock, so to say. And that's like the tipping point. I would say, like without that, it's kind of like really we spend a chapter climbing a fucking rock, and then with that, I think like that's just enough to be like, okay, I could see that being worth a chapter.
I'm just like I said, it was a really good chapter. I like it more for the character moments and like the character development rather than the actual like action sequences of the chapter. But it was a solid chapter in my eyes. And I'm like, it's just getting me more hype for the shit to come. Truly.
Yeah. And with that, we will end it here.